probably okay.
But so now this is the only life he probably knows if he doesn't have any memory of where he was before. It is no easy task to adopt children from China. I have friends that did it, and from Africa both. I mean, you really, and you know everything. I mean, you really do. They give you the nitty gritty of everything. You have to go through so much to get these kids over here. It is not a simple or fast process.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm assuming there's a lot of, and not that I'm going to compare like getting a child to an organ, but my dad had a kidney transplant, and at the time my uncle was going to donate to him, and the majority of the testing was psychological testing, like say you have cancer or kidney disease in 10 years, are you going to be mad at him that he now has your kidney and stuff like that? Like, getting a kid, like they must do so much crazy testing of the people. Like, are you secure to do this? Like, they don't just like, okay, yeah, you're nice people here, take a child.
100%.
This is going 7-Eleven.
Right.
I even had to write a letter of recommendation. Like, my friends would be great. Here's why I think they would be great parents. Here's when, I mean, and it couldn't be just because I like them. They're my friends. Like, I had to really write in a letter why I thought they would make a good home, basically be a character witness. So there's no way. I mean, they knew the full background to what they could know about these orphan children. They don't know everything, but they would certainly know a few things by the time they got this kid. But all that aside, my biggest thing is adopting a child is not like you adopting Pico. Okay?
Right.
It is not adopting a puppy that you get it and you decide, well, this dog has a big old penis and a tongue that sticks out.
And a hole in his head, so he's got to go.
And I did not sign up for that. It's also not something where you're like, wow, this is more work than I thought, and it doesn't really fit my lifestyle. So I'm going to renege on this, and I'm going to give him back. Like, you don't do
it's
that.
A person. Like, that's a life. Like,
you do not do that with a child, a human child. You don't.
Is that they went through all of that for the adoption. Like, what would they do if it was their own kid born with special needs or something? Like, I just think it's so odd that you went through, again, because it isn't that easy to get a kid. Like, they obviously went through a lot. It cost them a ton to get this baby and everything. I just don't understand the mindset that, yeah, okay, it's all right. Like, okay, we're done. This is too much work. Like,
well,
breaks my heart for him. Like,
people are monsters. I actually, a friend of mine, it's her brother, had a baby that was born with not autism, Down syndrome. And they found out, like, maybe the baby was 4 or 5 months, and they realized that the baby had Down syndrome. And this woman, who the wife, is very like up with the appearances, and she's like, I can't have a Down syndrome baby. And she had already had 2 little kids, and they lived, like, they do very well financially, very like suburban, and she gave the baby up for adoption. Now, mind you, they did the birth announcements, introduced the baby to all of the family, and then turned around and gave the baby up for adoption because it had Down syndrome.
You tell people.
Everybody knew. She's like, gave the baby up.
Wow. A friend of mine had a baby with autism, and she found out while she was pregnant, and they had the baby, and it was hard. Like, not for a minute pretend it was easy or everything's all la la la. Like, she really, really had a hard time. Like, almost like having to, not the death of a baby, but I guess the death of ideals of a baby, and then get used to, and like, people were almost afraid of the baby. Like, you have a new baby, everybody wants to hold it and everything. If she had this baby, people are like, oh, I don't want to hurt the baby, and blah, blah. She's like, the baby's fine. Like, now she's like 6 years old, and she's the most lovely little girl in the world, and the whole family's fine. But like, she had a really hard time at the beginning, but she was never like, we're done with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if a friend of mine, her son has Downs, and he's probably 4, and he just got diagnosed with autism on top of it. But it's hard. It's a very, very hard job, and
I will give this family one modicum of credit that, at the very least, if you truly feel unable or unwilling to care for this child in the way he deserves, I do prefer you give them to a family that will. I would rather see that than him to be abused or neglected in any
way. And hopefully that's where he winds up. But right now I think he's in some sort of foster care.
Exactly. And that's a horrible place for a child to be who truly doesn't understand. It's horrible for any child, but especially a child who may not be able to grasp the situation. That's terrible. I hope he winds up with someone who wants to love him and take care of him. And if they were not going to do that, I would rather them not fake it and do damage to the child any further. But I will say it's despicable that you didn't even try. I know it's overwhelming, but you signed up for it. It's what you said you were going to do.
Well, and to your point, hopefully with it being such a huge story, they're going to have a ton of people that are going to come forward and be like, I want the kid, and they'll have their pick of finding a fabulous family for him.
I feel very comfortable, and I like that it made national news for that reason. That's the biggest reason, because there's so many childless couples that they don't care. They will care for that child. They will love him. They will take care of him. And I think he will wind up better off in the long run. But in the meantime, I feel pretty pleased to judge them for their decision. I think it was pretty.
Right. But okay, so all right, what about this Virginia family that found those bags stuffed with over $1 million lying on the side of the road?
What?
Yeah, so they stumbled upon nearly $1 million in cold hard cash lying in the middle of the road. They were driving with their family, and it was in Virginia, and they initially thought they were bags of trash on the side of the road. So they pulled over, stopped really quick, and threw the 2 bags into the back of their pickup truck and made their way home. And when they got home, found, after inspecting, they realized that these bags were full of cash.
Wow.
Right. So they called the cops. All right, I don't even know if I'd have done that. Call the cops. And but listen, best thing was the cops. Nobody could figure out where they came from. The only thing is that they believed that they were full of cash that belonged to the Postal Service and were intended for a drop-off at a bank.
Why does the Postal Service have money in
I don't know. That whole thing is fishy. That they, I don't know. That's what they decided.
Wouldn't they use an armored truck for something like that?
Virginia, it sounds like some old guy who lives in a bunker and keeps his money in his mattress.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And he put it in the back of his truck while he was moving to a new bunker.
Yeah. That was completely unmarked money in that bag. You could have lived off of that for a long time.
Did I tell you about that happening to us? Have I ever told you that story about us getting the $2 million?
What?
No. So when I was on the ship, we were in the med, and I was in the shops, and we would get everything delivered to the loading dock, and you go down and pick it up and bring it up to the shop. So we're doing that. We get a call from the guys in the loading dock. They're like,
"Oh, Jen worked on a cruise ship."
Yeah.
So go ahead.
They know that. They've heard that plenty of times.
All right.
The guys at the loading dock are like, you guys forgot a couple boxes. Do you want to come down and grab them? So one of the girls goes down, gets the boxes, bring them up, put them to the side. We finish everything, go to open these boxes, literally stacked with cash, bundles and bundles and bundles of cash. And so we were in the med. So at the time there wasn't the euro. So there's French money and Italian money and British pounds and American money and all this stuff. What the fuck do we do? there's 6 girls standing around these 2 boxes filled with cash. Like literally we could have gotten off the next port and like lived in France forever. Being the good little girls that we are, though, we called the front desk and we're like, what the hell? They're like, oh shit, that's our money. So the front desk keeps like a bank on board, so passengers can their money back and forth, and somehow the box just got dropped off instead of like signed for and handed off. And geez, I look back and hate myself.
Well, I know, but I'll tell you, I know of, this was a story local, that one of the big jewelers here had posted everywhere that he would have paid this outrageous amount of money for a bag that he threw in the garbage by mistake, and they already had came and picked up the garbage and they were in the trucks. So I'm like, it must have been full of jewels.
Oh, sure.
But they were already probably dumped in the back of the truck, and I never followed up to find out if they ever got.
You mean you didn't go dumpster diving?
No, right? I was like, can you imagine what that dump must have looked like? All them people, I don't know.
Right?
But
that
yeah.
Ever.
So did you also see the news story about the new social distancing? They've used the, like those big.
Yeah, the blow up tire rings?
Yeah, like inner tubes, and they put the table in wheels, so you walk around and you drag your table with you so that you're all 6 feet apart.
I saw those ones. I saw somewhere in Europe, they're using like fishing huts. So it's like a little private diner for each table. So it's somewhere hot. So they've got it like on the shore, and they've got all these little fishing huts lined up with their table and everything. And the waiter comes up to the little window in the fishing hut and brings you your food, and you sit in there and eat.
Okay, am I crazy that none of that sounds like that much fun? Like, why go to a restaurant then if I have to be in a hut all by myself? Like, I might as well just
you sit like if you and
home.
No, if you and your family go for dinner, you sit in this little hut, not you by yourself.
But listen, why? Like,
it
I
doesn't
can just carry out the food. Like,
it doesn't sound fun now because you don't have to. But if you were on vacation in France and you weren't in quarantine and there's these little huts on the beach, you'd be like, shotgun, we're going there for dinner. Doesn't that look fun?
This is true. I spend a great deal of my life trying to stay away from people, and now that I have to, I'm kind of
exactly. It's only because
I'm not that mad about it.
Another one I saw, this place has like plastic, like huge wine glass looking things that drop down from the roof and like bubble in the whole table while people are sitting there eating.
Again,
yeah, that's.
To me, I think I'd be too claustrophobic, and the picture looked very nice. I feel like it's going to fog up like the back seat of the drive-in, and you're not going to see anything, breathe, and it's going to smell like garlic. And
yeah, that doesn't look good. I'm not going out to eat if I got to sit in a bubble.
No, I even have friends that are like, let's go to this spa where we have to wear masks and stay far away from each other, but let's go get pedicures. I got that invite for Saturday, and I'm like, no. That sounds so not fun.
No.
We can't sit next to each other. I have to be in a mask for an hour. All of the relaxation of getting a pedicure is gone.
No,
when
listen.
Is scared to touch
with
me.
Your friends, you can't even talk. Like,
yeah, I will wear a fucking bubble if I can get a pedicure right now, okay? I'm telling you, my feet are jacked up. I drove past where I got my toes done and where my foot massage place, they're right next door to each other. I drove past and just gazed longingly at them, okay? We can't even, are the bars open there?
Yes, they are.
How many people are allowed in there?
So my friend owns a bar.
Yeah.
And she opened hers up. And she's blocked off tables to do social distancing. So there's just places you just can't sit. There's no chairs. She pulled the chairs.
Okay.
You can't be there. And just to try to keep people away from each other, she said it's 0% working. Like, people are still just wandering over to each other, talking. She's doing the best she can, but no. She said social distancing is not flipping happening. I don't know what to do. Like, I tried.
Yeah.
We're still locked down for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.